Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Is this on? Good afternoon, Chair Parks, committee members. For your record, I am Tammy Little, the Clackamas County Assessor, recently appointed. Thank you for the opportunity to present our 2018-2019 proposed budget. Before I begin, I would like to introduce some staff that are here with me. They'll raise their hand as I say their name. First, I'd like to say I'm privileged to work with a really great group of people, and I wanted to include them today to acknowledge their contributions in the success of our work. They're dedicated, creative professionals. They work hard and provide really great services to our citizens in taxing districts. Next to me is Kathy Bowen, our management admin. In the back, we have Melissa Coy, an assessment and tax supervisor, Megan Nava, an assessment and tax supervisor, John Bonet, appraisal supervisor, Todd Cooper, another appraisal supervisor, wasn't able to be here today, Dina Medicon, our tax district analyst, and Lynn Longfellow, our appraisal manager, will be joining us soon. The mission of the Assessment and Taxation Department is to administer state property tax laws and provide services to taxpayers and taxing districts so they can have confidence in their tax system and receive the highest quality customer experience. We believe our missions and goals tie in with the county's strategic goal to build public trust through good government. The administration of property tax laws makes us responsible for the equitable valuation of all taxable property in the county, discovery of all new inventory, including new construction and remodels, maintaining property records of over 3,300 assessment maps, property ownership changes, voter-approved money measures, and district boundary changes. We provide property owners with dispute resolution, exemption, and deferral qualifications and eligibility determinations. We calculate ad valorem taxes for 133 taxing districts and distribute property tax revenue annually. In addition, our department has had a long-standing commitment to providing excellent customer service. We continue to work on our strategic goals in the following ways. We continue our efforts to increase the amount of property record information available online for our customers. We are also working on capturing commercial, industrial, and multifamily property records electronically. Real estate activity, however, has impacted the timeline for our progress on this goal. In 2017, we received over 5,300 permits from 13 different jurisdictions, and our field appraisers inspected and valued over 10,000 properties. In each of the past 3 years, we have added over $1 billion in exception value, which has really stretched our resources. Of the 29 FTE in valuation, 11 field appraisers do the majority of the field work. So that equates to each one valuing over $143 million for the tax roll. The county's goal to grow a vibrant economy certainly is seen in the growth of value on the tax roll. And I provided a handout yesterday. There is an article there from the Portland Business Journal showing that Clackamas County has 4 of the 10 fastest growing cities in Oregon. Happy Valley, Molalla, and Wilsonville being the top 3. On the reverse side is a map. It's a little hard to look at. There's lots of dots on it, but it represents, it's a map that depicts the location of permits where we inspected properties in 2017. So you can see where we go throughout the county. We also continue working on our goal to reduce the amount of property omitted on the tax roll. In the past 5 years, we have discovered over 1,500 accounts with undiscovered value not on the tax roll. This resulted in an additional $4.4 million in tax dollars that we collected. There are several reasons that this value is not on the tax roll. Sometimes people don't get permits, and we also do not have the resources to physically reappraise all properties each year. I'll talk more about our request to purchase some oblique aerial imagery, but I would like to mention here at this point that we believe it will help us find more efficient and effective appraisal solutions, and this particular goal is one that's very important, and that would play a big role in that. Another goal we continually strive to meet is in our efforts to maintain a well-qualified, competent, adequately staffed organization. We also try to model and encourage a culture of valuing high-quality customer service. Our department structure is made up of 4 lines of business and 5 programs. Valuation is our largest line of business, so it's broken into 2 programs. Valuation services include valuing all properties at 100% of market value and annually valuing all new construction and exception value. The modification program work includes appeals, exemptions, and deferrals. Tax revenue work includes billing, collections, distribution of revenue to the taxing districts, and foreclosure. Property record work includes maintaining ownership, addresses, characteristics, and tax maps. In addition to leadership, the administrative line of business provides information, resources to the Board of County Commissioners, county departments, and legislative support related to assessment and taxation functions. Our 3-year budget trend, we have a proposed budget of $8.2 million for 2018-2019, which is up $200,000 from last year's $7.9. This is a 2.65% increase. In our proposed budget, the resource chart shows 73% of our funding comes from the general fund. We will also receive $1.4 million from the CAFA grant, which is shown on the pie chart as the 17% that comes from the state. In his opening message, our county administrator talked about a new technology solution, which is the 2% capital outlay request that we have in our budget, and that is to purchase that oblique aerial imagery. This investment, we believe, ties into both county and department goals of collaboration with other departments and agencies. For our FTE, we've requested no changes in staffing for 2018-19. We have 58.5 FTE, and I think it's important to note that our staffing levels have not changed in many years. They've remained relatively even. In the past 16 years, we've added just 1 FTE, and that was 4 years ago in our valuation program. CAFA funding is based on adequate staffing to meet work demands. We currently are 10 FTE below the Department of Revenue staffing model. Clackamas County's allocation of the total grant funds available would increase with additional FTE. Our proposed budget on this pie chart shows broken into our programs. And as noted in our resources, 17% of our funding for this proposed budget is from the CAFA grant that I just mentioned. Broken out into dollars, that represents an average of $340,000 to help fund each program, with the exception of administration, which is $48,000. So this is an important revenue stream that helps counties fund the assessment and taxation functions. In our administration program, legislative sessions and Oregon's complicated property tax system provide a challenge to helping citizens understand our tax system and for us to effectively administer it. Staffing continues to be a priority for us. We replaced 22% of our positions this past year, and we are focused on training, and we recognize the importance of retention. I'm committed, as was our prior assessor, to evaluating future opportunities to collaborate with other departments and jurisdictions to provide more effective and efficient services. In our property valuation, I'm so sorry. In our property valuation program, real estate sales activity, new construction, and other exception events continue to show significant increases. New construction and property changes remain strong for our 2018-2019 target number, and it may exceed our target number as we did last year. Like the journal article that I mentioned, Clackamas County is really growing. I'd like to note that we anticipate the purchase of pictometry will greatly reduce the demand that you see here to physically reappraise properties each year. In addition, IAAO standards have adopted standards for the use of this oblique aerial imagery in mass appraisal, which is a significant help to us. We have allocated a 0.75 FTE to work on our strategic goal of capturing property information and appraisals for commercial and industrial records. We're working hard and we're very excited about the efficiencies this will create. However, it is going to be difficult to maintain this with the expected growth in our workload. In the property modification program, we saw another low level of appeals to the Board of Property Tax Appeals. This is due to the continuation of an improving economy, low interest rates, and a real estate market with reduced inventory and increasing sales prices. A consistent level of resources remains directed towards appeal management. The legal complexity of appeals and the complexity of the properties under appeal continue to require a great deal of participation by County Council. The high level of sales activities requires significant resources in our valuation program. We continue to work toward maintaining the accuracy and integrity of our property characteristic inventory. Again, I will mention the oblique aerial imagery will be a very viable solution to the output of omitted property from the tax roll. Within the next 2 years, we do expect to have tangible results that will demonstrate the benefits of this technology solution. In our tax revenue program, the work continues to be completed timely and accurately. We successfully processed levy requirements for 133 taxing districts and produced a total tax roll of $811 million. Property tax statements were mailed to over 174,000 residents last October, and in 2017, 88% of the total tax roll was distributed to the taxing districts within 16 days of the November 15th due date. So you can see how hard they work. It's a good number. In our property records program, they processed approximately 20,000 recorded documents, deeds, resulting in ownership changes, updating addresses, and/or property boundary changes. The increased volume of real estate activity requires we prioritize our resources to keep our records updated timely and reflect these changes accurately. This increased workload has impacted our available resources for work on our performance measure of digitizing all of our assessment and tax maps. We reduced our initial number of programs created when we did our MFR planning, but we have not added any additional programs since our implementation of Performance Clackamas. But we do plan this year to review and update our strategic plan. It's time again. We did this in 2015. Our mission work that I described is governed by Oregon Revised Statute. We continually review our processes for improvement and efficiency possibilities. By changing our organizational structure into programs, we now have a clear way to analyze resources and workloads separately within each area. Performance Clackamas gives us more ways to focus our already customer service-based culture back to our department structure and goals. Performance Clackamas also allows us an improved way to view our goals and measure more specifically to see areas where resources are needed. So, emerging issues. Due to the continuing growth of the county, one very important issue is an effective and efficient appraisal solution, giving us better ways to look at more properties each year. Purchasing the oblique aerial imagery through pictometry would provide our appraisal staff with high-resolution imagery to often complete appraisal process work from their desk. It will reduce costs associated with sending appraisers in the field for every inspection, although it would not eliminate field work, just reduce it. The use of the new technology provides change detection using building outlines, which will help us significantly with our goal of reducing the amount of omitted property on the tax roll. It will also assist in continuing to add over $1 billion of market exception value annually to the tax roll. The Department of Assessment and Taxation is in great need of integrating our GIS data with our computer-aided mass appraisal system. We believe this aerial imagery technology would provide a better way to accomplish that integration and help us move forward with more efficient appraisal methods and effective processes. So I know I've already said a lot about aerial imagery, but I do want to add one last comment. One of our goals is collaboration And we think this oblique aerial imagery would be a great asset to several other county departments and jurisdictions. Our thinking is if we build it, they will come. There is no additional cost from pictometry to share this imagery, and we're hopeful to find partners to share in the cost for future years. Another emerging issue is we continue to need appraisal resources, and if the growth rate of the county continues at a steady pace, we will need to add 1 to 2 appraisal positions in the next 5 years. This will help us meet our goal of digitizing the commercial and industrial property records. As mentioned earlier, we've already dedicated a 0.75 FTE. It's going to be hard to continue that without additional resources. And last, another emerging issue that that may emerge, I expect it will in the next 5 years, is the replacement of our aging assessment, tax, and appraisal software. We converted in 1999. Still a good product, but it's aging, and it's nearly 20 years old. So I can speak more about the aerial imagery. I have a handout if you'd like to see it. Currently, the county has ortho imagery, which is a straight down shot. So the county does have aerial photography, but it's a straight down shot. And ortho imagery is they take photos at a 40 to 45 degree angle, north, south, east, and west. So it's really a 360-degree look at a building and the property. Would you mind taking these up?
We could probably make enough money to pay for it.
If you pass these around, if you tip them, you can see the straight down shot with ortho, and if you tilt it, you can see the oblique imagery. So it would show you that, and we can measure buildings from our desktop using this imagery. So it's a really great thing, we believe, for us, but we also believe that there are other county departments and agencies, fire districts, cities, it could grow.
Mm-hmm.
There are many counties, all the surrounding counties are using this. Lane and Marion, I believe, are the most recent. So with that, I will respectfully ask for approval of our proposed budget, and thank you very much. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay, thank you. We at least have a couple right at the moment, questions and/or comments. We'll start with Commissioner Bernard.
First off, I was convinced of the aerial imagery quite a while ago. If you talk much further, I might have to rethink it.
Okay, I'm going to be quiet now.
Very much.
I think that we should consider in this budget, and I ask you this question. How much property tax value would you need to find to hire 2 more employees? Because it seems to me, if you hired 2 employees and you could increase the valuation of property, you could easily pay for them. And especially if you just did the one and kept your 0.7 person in staff doing the other work they're doing, you could do it. But my question is also, are there appraisers available?
So
That's probably an issue.
it is. Those are all really great questions. And, I would need to get back to you on the exact amount that we would have to add to the role to cover that. But I can tell you that we discussed this in great length. Do we ask for additional FTE, or do we ask for this oblique aerial imagery in order to come up with some good appraisal solutions that might offset our need to do that? I can tell you, I've worked in the assessor's office for 34 years. We used to do all of our record keeping by hand, and over time we have transitioned to very creative and efficient processes with technology and gone paperless, of course, in many ways, but that creativity has worked well. But as the growth of the county continues, we've kind of hit that tipping point where we need more resources. So it's a great question. I'd like to look at the numbers and get back to you. And the second part of your question is it's very difficult to find appraisal staff. We get a very low return on our recruitment. We're competing with the neighboring counties, and it is a big challenge. We have a great staff. We want to keep them.
Well, if you can get that information by next week, first part of the
absolutely will.
week, how much additional tax revenue you'd have to collect to pay for that employee, I think I would be interested in hearing it. I'll tell you, when I was mayor of Milwaukee, we created the inspection department. We told them, you will be here as long as you can pay for yourself. And that's kind of the way I look at this. It's like the veterans officers. We were able to triple the benefits that we were able to get into the county by adding one person. So it seems to me that if with the addition of this aerial photography or imagery, you could easily pay for that person if you can find it. So
Thank you. I will get you that information. And I'll just note that that's why I commented a little on the CAFA grant as well, because we do receive money back as for those FTE from the state if funds are available.
the other, so that would be interesting. The property records, are the fees controlled by the state that you can charge?
The fees for, like if we
Property
sell a
tax.
map or,
Yeah, I think I went in and got some records and paid a minor fee for something.
right, we set those based on what it costs us to produce it, and it is part of our services, or excuse me, our fees and charges that's approved by the board.
Okay.
We haven't raised them in a very long time, but
Public
The
document.
reason I ask is you said business has picked up a lot. It seems like there might be an opportunity there to help fund that program by a slight increase in fees. Anyway, that's it.
thank you.
Ken, I guess.
There you go.
Just
Ken,
one
you're back
question.
again? Okay.
Yeah, just one question. Can we pay our taxes by credit card?
You can pay your taxes by credit card online, but there is a fee. Our service provider is U.S. Bank,
Yeah.
and they charge a service fee. It's 2.67, I believe, or 64 for a Visa or MasterCard, but it's $3, I believe, for a e-check or a debit card. We don't do that at the front counter because at this time, the vendors that would allow us to be able to do that don't work with the same. I'm losing my train of thought of what to call it. The county provider would not work with U.S. Bank.
Just wouldn't have the right interface.
We would not have the right interface. Thank you for the word.
Okay. Mr. Krepp, do you have a comment to that?
Yes, I was just going to make a comment. The assessor's office is county agency, but what we often lose sight of is this county agency is providing services not just to county government, but virtually every local government in Clackamas County, as well as the state as well. And so from the school districts to the cities to the fire, they all count on the work of the county assessor's office. It's helpful to remember that. So.
Yeah.
We have a lot of them. We have 16 cities and I believe 18 school districts, 5
Many special
ESDs,
Yeah.
123,
33.
33?
133 taxing
33
districts.
special districts? Plus the cities, plus the schools?
No, I thought you were
Cities, schools, community colleges.
collecting for
Fire
133
districts.
agencies.
Wow, that is a lot. Mr. Magdalene,
Can we just make sure I get it right from the state? State said we're down by their standard, which means we're efficient.
Correct.
We should have 10 more full-time equivalents. If we add one, what's the increase in the grant size?
Well, I would have to get back to you on that, and it varies annually because every county has a percentage. It's based on the work that we do, new construction, the number of permits, the number of recorded deeds, property segregations, even tax refunds, tax roll corrections. It's a complicated formula, and then it also depends on the funds available. Those funds come from delinquent interest and a portion of delinquent interest and a portion of recording fees, which there is some concern about decline in that revenue.
It's Friday.
I think, okay, I still would like to figure out.
Yes, absolutely. We'll factor that into our numbers that we give to Chair Bernard.
Because Monday we
Thank you.
have special districts, Tuesday. Thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
And that is our final department presentation.